Welcome to the Tournament Poker Edge podcast, brought to you by TournamentPokerEdge.com, the only podcast dedicated exclusively to poker tournament strategy. Now here's your host, Clayton Fletcher. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Tournament Poker Edge podcast. Killingbird here with you. Wait, where's Clayton? Where in the world is Clayton? Where in the world is Clayton Fletcher? I am joined by my good friend Mark AZN and All in 007 Aliotto. What's up, buddy?
Not much. Yeah, I feel like I've seen you more this year than usual, but I guess we're in Vegas for like a month and a half usually. But yeah, got to hang out twice now, which is nice.
Yeah, very, very cool. I enjoyed it. I'm still recovering, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I told you before, I just fully recovered. It took 3 days.
Yeah, we went a little hard in the paint. So we're going to jump into that in a minute, but first, for all the listeners out there, our good friend Clayton is actually down in Florida. I think he was actually down there for a comedy gig, but then he played in a satellite to a 1K main event that they were running down there.
At the Isle something?
Yeah, everybody just calls it the Isle. I have no idea where that is in Florida. It could be north, south, hard to say. But either way, he's down there playing that tournament, but he has committed to getting a podcast out every week, and we support that vision. So yeah. Mark and I manned up, and we're ready to go. We got fun stuff to talk about today. So first, let's talk a little bit about Reno. So we went to Reno for the Run It Up Reno event, which for people that don't know, it's basically a tournament series that's organized by Jason Somerville, who I think most people will be familiar with his name. And I think the best way to describe it, I kept telling people it's almost more of like a poker meetup that has some tournaments, more so than a poker tournament series, because it's really just a bunch of people who like poker fans, but also some professional players.
Yeah, let me say one thing about that. I think that's correct for when we went. I think now, I think Thursday had a 1K, and then the main event is a 500 coming. I think more pros will get down there now because just the bigger buy-ins and stuff. But yeah, it was a pretty cool scene at Amazing Casino, which you should talk about.
Yeah, so it was at Peppermill, which I've never been to. I can't remember. Had you said you've been there before?
I mean, I may have stumbled in there in one of my drunken shenanigan days. But yeah, I definitely don't remember it. So we'll just say no.
Yeah. So definitely my first time there, and it was really nice. I don't know, for some reason when I think of Reno, I just kind of think of it as a even lower class step down from Vegas, or Fremont City.
Fremont Street, Atlantic City, maybe.
Yeah, but this hotel was super nice. My room was nice. There were tons of restaurant options, which all were good.
Yeah, all were outstanding. Rooms were super cheap. Sportsbook was phenomenal.
Oh my god, that sportsbook was amazing, which is probably why we ended up spending more time there than in the poker room.
Well, that's what happens when you're there Sunday, too. The regular poker room was nice because what they did was they rented out a ballroom for the Run It Up event, and it was in a perfect spot, could fit a lot of tables, kind of like how the Rio does it. But the poker room was actually cool, too. It wasn't massive, but it had tables, and it was basically popping all the time.
Yeah. I never got in there. Some of the guys I talked to said it was so good, action-wise, but, football was on, and then football was on, and then things just got carried away. But yeah, it was really cool. We met several TPE members, met several of my Twitch followers and friends. You brought some buddies from SF as well. I ended up playing, I think, 4 events, if I got my numbers right. Of course, didn't cash anything because I don't cash live tournaments. It's not really something I do.
I had as many cashes as you did.
That's a good point.
There's only one difference.
You played 0 tournaments.
I did. And which I wanted to play the Shootout the most. The problem was I was I was hungover. It was the problem, to be truth. When you go out with buddies that don't play poker and you don't see them often, it's tough. Like, because I want to play, but at the same token, I never get to hang out with any of these guys, and most of them are old high school buddies and stuff. So, I regret not playing the shootout mainly, and it was sad not to play, but.
And you actually did attempt to, right? But it was sold out already.
Yes, I wanted to play the shootout, and I went, and it was my fault. I got up late. That was, it was a rough trip for me, drinking wise. I'm not gonna lie. I'll keep it real with the listeners. I probably drank too much on this trip, but that's what Reno does to you sometimes.
I think what's amazing, and our listeners might find surprising, is that I actually kept it pretty under control, except for one particular night.
Wait a minute. First off, I saw you at the Chinese restaurant, which is actually phenomenal. What was it called? Chi?
Yeah, I think it's called Chi.
Yeah.
CHI.
You were not okay there.
Okay, fair point.
And then I saw you another night, and you actually were okay compared to the field, but I don't know if that says much.
Yeah, compared to the field, everybody
you did go home early though, and you did get in bed early most nights. So you were smart.
Yeah, I tried to. Because I knew I did want to play, and I don't think I probably was in optimal condition to be playing, but I was probably in better condition than I could have been under the circumstances.
Yeah, I should have got marked down. So me too. I bought a piece.
That's a good point. I should have sold you at 0.8 or something. And it was actually cool too because I drove up. Well, you drove too. Your drive is a lot shorter.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Well, yeah, go ahead. Make fun of my height now. That was perfect. You set yourself up and didn't even do it. Wow.
I see. I'm trying to leave spots open for Clayton to say stuff, but I'm forgetting he's not here. So
he doesn't do that anyway because he's a gentleman. That's more Casey and Diego.
Yeah, we need Casey back on this show.
Oh, he 100% would have come with something there, guaranteed.
Probably about 5 times already.
Yeah.
But too bad, so sad he's not here.
I will say one thing about this series. It's perfect if you're a low stakes, mid stakes grinder. There's nightlies that are cheap. The regular tournaments that were going off, the Moneymaker, you'll get into it in a second, was a really good value. And the rooms weren't. You could stay at another hotel too and probably spend $15 a night. But the rooms at Peppermill, you could get a good room for $40.
Yeah, the week.
So people want to experience Vegas, but these stops Reno, wherever you go, Indiana, all these other World Series stops are incredible value, and you can do them for cheap.
Yeah, like you were saying, I think my room on the weeknights was $40, and I think only on Saturday did it become, or maybe it was Friday or Saturday, it was $60, I think.
Sunday, wasn't it? Because we didn't get there.
Maybe it was Sunday.
Jesus, you're all fucked up.
Maybe I was more drunk than I remember. It's possible.
But I think we got there Sunday.
Either way.
The following Thursday it was expensive. It's no, dude, you weren't there, idiot.
Either way, compare it to a week at the Rio during the World Series, and you're paying double or triple that.
Oh, easy, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I concur. People should definitely check out some of these smaller series, and like you said, the biggest event I played was a 235, but there were the shootout was a 125. And then there was, like you said, the Moneymaker tournament, which basically was, I guess, the low stakes main event, for lack of a better description. It was an $86 buy-in, and it got 800 plus runners, and first place had basically a $30K package added to it.
What was it? The Poker Stars? What's it called?
Yeah, it's called the Platinum Pass, which I guess is basically a trip to the Bahamas to play the PCA main event. Which
we've both been to and is a must.
Yeah.
At some point in your life, that series is outstanding. That's an expensive trip. Speaking of polar opposite of Reno, that would be the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Because a hot dog will cost you $75.
I definitely don't drink as much in the Bahamas because every drink is $14.
Dude, that local beer, I forget, you know what it's called, is so good.
Yeah, Killick.
You probably don't like it because it's more of a lager.
I actually kind of do like it. I like it because it reminds me of the Bahamas every time I drink it.
So good. Ice cold and bottle too. I want to drink. Can we drink?
Let's go back to Reno. I'll be there. I'll be there in 7 hours.
um, but yeah, I was also upset we didn't tag team it.
Oh, that's right.
Tourney. The tourney I'm speaking about.
Yeah, that was the one tournament that I had intended to play that I didn't.
Yeah, you were all gung ho on playing it, and I was like, yeah, sure, Derek. Like, I'll come play a couple orbits, but that's Monday Night Football. As soon as Monday Night Football hit, Derek's like, I'm over it.
Yeah. At some point, I think maybe the game ended or it was halftime or something. I walked upstairs and I ran into somebody I knew who wasn't playing, and I almost said, "Do you want to play this?" And I was like, "Nah, fuck it, football."
I'm a good influence on you.
Yeah. We might not want to hang out in Vegas next summer. I won't play any tournaments.
We keep it cool in Vegas, like, for the most part.
Yeah.
It's just like when you came out here, because Derek came out here and stayed for a couple days in Bay Area, San Francisco, Marin County area, and we weren't very good there either.
Yeah, I think it's
not that was a poker trip; that was a football trip.
Yeah, completely. Because we planned that as a kind of get crazy and watch football trip. But I think it's about like what you're anticipating or what your expectations are. Because when you go to Vegas, you know you need to last like 6 weeks, so you like mentally
don't
prepare
shoot
for that.
The only time I shoot my wad is a TPE meetup, which for those listeners that have not attended, if you want to see Derek and I in our finest form ever, and all the members seem to join along too. It's like a disease. It's just spread through one night. A lot of drinking. We don't eat well, and we gamble a lot. It's a blast. So this year I will be back, which I'm happy about. I know you were there this year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Already starting to plan my trip, which is actually a very good
segue.
Very good segue. Because you got a message from a TPE member asking some questions about Vegas, and I guess instead of typing up a long response, you were like, "Hey, this would be really cool to talk about on the podcast." And I agree, because it's like it really is time to start planning. Like, this is about the time that you and I start looking at houses and trying to figure out where we're going to stay and what dates we're going. And so perfect timing to bring this up. So do you want to, I guess we don't need to read his whole email, but we can at least go through the questions he asked.
Yeah, so I think this is a common question that a lot of the members have, and actually a lot of friends too in my area that love going out, that love playing poker and want to head out to the series. He's basically asking how to make this trip cheap. Are there tournaments, low buy-in tournaments? How should he budget? And I mean, I think we can give the best place to stay for cheap. And you and I are value hunters. We literally take off our pants and insert into value. So yeah, I guess let's just start where to stay.
Yeah.
What's the name of that casino? God damn it, with the bowling alley.
Gold Coast.
Yeah, so it's not nice, but it's not dirty, and it's a block, 2 blocks from the Rio Tops. Because the key is you want to be close to the Rio. It's just convenient. I mean, we live in a house right there too, a couple blocks away. Plus, TPE parties a block from Gold Coast. But a lot of pros have done this for years. Super cheap. Not the nicest casino, but they have a sports book. They have craps if that's your thing. Good food, and they have a bowling alley. Just the rooms aren't great, but it's affordable, and it's right by the Rio and I wouldn't recommend playing at the Rio if you're on a budget. You can play some of the nightlies just to say whatever you play if you want to play in the Rio, but the satellites have really good value there. You can play the 500. You can play the 500, the Colossus, which I don't recommend, but if you wanted to take a shot at one tournament as I played in a World Series bracelet event, I guess that would be it. I don't really care for the structure.
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather just get another 1,000 together and play the Monster. Would play the Monster for sure. But then other than that, there's so many places to play. Derek doesn't play at the Venetian anymore because Sheldon Adelson's a prick. I still do because it's just good value. There's $400 buy-ins with amazing structures. They have nightlies that run that are smaller fields, smaller buy-ins, which are good. And then the Wynn has tournaments. The Wynn is our favorite place to play, right? I mean, Derek.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any conversation to be had. But yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I'm already having internal discussions with myself about playing just the Win next summer because I want one of those damn Win trophies.
Melissa. We got to steal Melissa's. And Cody Custer has one, too. We got to just rob these people. That's two.
I think, I think Thesaurus might have one, too.
Okay. We'll have like a trophy bringing party and just jack people. Because I don't need to win it. It's not about winning it. It's more just about having the trophy.
Yeah, I want that damn thing on my mantle. I guess I need to get a mantle first.
You don't seem like the mantle type guy. Like...
No. But yeah, I agree. The Win room is hands down the nicest. Actually, one of the dealers at one of my tables up in Reno was a dealer from the Win, and she had just gone up there, I guess essentially as like a vacation where she was dealing, is the way she described it, which is kind of weird. But as soon as she mentioned she was at the Win, like everybody at my table was like, "Oh, you work at the Win? Nicest room in Vegas. Love your chairs. Your dealers are all great. Like, I love that you have chargers under your table, like phone chargers under your tables." I mean, it's now pretty much a consensus amongst players that the Win is like the nicest room.
Like, if you play at the Rio 10 straight years and sit in those dusty chairs, you're guaranteed to have back problems.
Yeah.
Like, it is so, like, the Rio is it's horrible. I hope they move at some point. I don't know how long their lease is for the series, but I pray it's somewhere else soon.
Yeah, that'd be
because,
nice.
like, yeah, the Win is, you said it. I mean, the dealers are nice. The chairs, it's like having sex. It's that good. And then, yeah, the chargers are nice because, like, like to listen to music, check Twitter and stuff. So it's just, it's more accommodating to us. I love it. And the buy-ins, too, and the structures are amazing. Smaller fields. So, like, anyone going out there, you got to ask yourself a couple things. Okay, am I going out as a vacation / playing poker for fun? Or if you're going out to make money, I mean, we just talked about this earlier, Derek, that when I went out there my first year, when I was mainly sit and go double or nothing grinder, I played all satellites, and I didn't play one tournament the entire time. Not one.
Yeah. And you basically sell the lammers.
Yeah, and you could sell, like, if you ever want to sell lammers, like, whatever, contact us. There's plenty of people that play the main event. They're easy to sell. But there's so much value in those things, and there's just a ton of money to be made. So if you were going strictly to make money, that would be your best bet. If you had, I guess, any experience in push fold, with most of you probably do, you could just look at a chart for that and beat those things. They're just super soft. But if you want to dabble in tournaments, I mean, even Fremont Street, like Binions runs some events. Aria runs nightlies. I mean, Carlos Welch, our resident, he actually is the value hunter. We claim to be, but we're not.
That's true. He's the
like
king.
Carlos is the nuts.
Carlos literally, he'll literally go on Twitter like the night before and just see where everybody's playing and then go somewhere else.
He used to text me, be like, "You playing the Win today?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And like he would just assume I was with like 5 people, and he'd be like, "All right, I'm going to Aria."
Yeah.
Like, and he won't let you know where he's playing till game time.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want anyone to show up there. Like, he likes being there with all like 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds. He's genius for this too. So yeah, Aria has good nightlies, which are even more affordable than the Winter Venetian, like $200. I mean, I like that. How do you feel about the Rio Deep Stack? I mean, that's not value hunting because the structure gets pretty shit late. But
yeah, it's pretty variance heavy. But I will say that if you just can't afford to be playing like 500s even in 1Ks and stuff, then at least but you really want that like Rio experience, because you play those deep stacks, you will see some pros in them. I sat with Greg Raymer one year in one of those, but if nothing else, like just on breaks, like you're going to be walking and you're going to see Phil Hellmuth walk by and you're going to see Daniel Negreanu walk by, and so if it's just like I really just want to play there and be in that environment and that's your only option, go for it for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And like, I don't think it's wrong to have that plan going into Vegas. But you know what? Like, eventually I want to be a professional poker player, but I want to see what this is all about, because honestly, the first year when I went, I was kind of deer in headlights, like, wow, this is cool. Like, look at Ivy. Like,
right.
So budget wise, like, what do you think? Let's just say you're heading out to Vegas for a week. What do you think we need to have in our wallets without paying for the room? Let's just say nothing's paid for. You're going out with cash. You're paying for room, food, and tournaments for 7 days. I have a number in my mind. I'm curious to see what yours is.
So I think you could probably make it happen. I mean, again, it depends on which route you're going. I mean, if you're going to go stay downtown and play like all the Binions tourneys, it's different.
Let's say you're going for a mixed bag. Like, yeah, you want to hang out at the Rio. You don't necessarily need to play any of the World Series events, but you definitely want to play at the Rio. But like the other 4 or 5 days, you're going to go value hunt and play like 200s and stuff like that.
I think you could do a week, honestly, for like $3,000.
Wow, I thought you were going to be way cheaper. I thought you were going to be way lower than me. I think you could do it for 1,500.
You might be right.
You might be Busto night one. No, I really, because, okay, I think the rooms are $30 a pop a night at Gold Coast. Maybe cheaper. I don't know. Like, they're pretty cheap.
That seems pretty right.
So let's just say 300. So now we're down to $1,200. I think you can get away with playing like a bunch, like 4 200s. Shoot, you know what? Let's say 2K. Yeah, 1,500 was too little because you got to buy beers when you see Derek and I. So that'll cost.
True.
That's at least 100. Actually, you know what? You don't even have to worry about that. Come to the TP party and you're gonna drink and eat for free.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think you could do it for 2K though. 3K is a better budget, but I think you can get away 1,500 2K. Like, I think you're good.
Yeah, I think I was considering like a couple of rebuys or re-entries, either way. And I was kind of thinking like, I think in my mind I was putting like one like sort of shot in there, whether
like
it's
the monster, or not the monster, like the
Colossus or Goliath, or maybe even like that. What's that $500 big thing that they run at Planet Hollywood, like the Goliath or Giant or whatever.
The Gargamel? Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's so many weird names now. I'm just lost.
Yeah, when did it become a thing where everything is named after something big?
There's also $100 nightlies at Aria, which I forgot to mention. I mean, so there is stuff to play for cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to figure 2 of the 6 nights you're there, like, one, you're going to get maybe a little loose. The next day, you don't want to be playing too much. Yeah, I mean, I think 2K is safe. 3K is ideal. I do agree. 3K is ideal. 1,500, I think you can do it. But I think you're better off just going like 4 nights, or something like that with 1,500.
One thing I will say, now that I've lived in Vegas for, I guess, about 8 months, I would have never said this before, but if you don't care about being around the Rio and like being around that environment and stuff, man, downtown has gotten pretty nice. Like, they've fixed it
Fremont,
really nice. Yeah, super killer.
And you probably could stay. You probably could stay there for cheaper.
Yeah, like
I mean, you can.
Yeah, you could probably get a room at, I don't know, Golden Nugget or Binions or something, like almost free, maybe. Well, now they have all these damn resort fees, which really does fuck up our budget that we're talking about, but that's another whole conversation.
The problem with that is I feel like most members that are going are probably going for the first time, and I think we would, I don't want to say we're steering them in the wrong direction, but like it is far from the Rio.
Yes.
And like if you're going to the series for the first time, you want to be, I don't know, like I like being in the Rio. Like even like you can spend a day railing. Like chances are some big name pro is going to final table something. And like shit, Derek, we've done this years. We always end up railing someone.
Yeah, true.
Wow.
Wait, what? Hope my wife's not listening.
Oh, jeez. Wow. We end up watching people at final tables because it is exciting to go in there. Jesus, I'm all fucked up. What's the room called with the final tables?
Amazon room?
Amazon room, yeah. So like, yeah, I mean, like if I was going for my first time, I'd want to be in that environment.
I agree, for sure.
But you're probably right. You could do it cheaper. If you're really just a bargain hunter, you're probably right. Fremont Street is perfect because you can play all like the Nugget, the Binion. Like, there's tons of casinos with smaller buy-in tournaments. So I guess bang for your buck, you might be right. Plus, you can eat for like $2 there
Yeah.
and drink cheap too.
Yeah, it's
It's
always
just
it's hard to know like what somebody mean like if somebody says, "Yeah, I don't have a huge role, like where should I go?" So, to some people, not huge means 5K, and to some people, not huge means like 700.
yeah,
And if you got like 700, like your only option is to go downtown and stay at Binion's and play the Nugget and Binion's for 5 days or whatever.
yeah. I mean, you could go for like 3 or 4 nights. I mean, again, like I think it was smart. This member, I'm not going to say his name just because maybe he doesn't want to be known. Um, I think it's smart though to ask budget wise because when I went out there, I kind of just like I was like, okay, like I'm coming.
Yeah. Well, one thing I will say too that uh, his question doesn't really indicate this, but it depends a little bit on where you're coming from too.
I
Um,
forgot about flights.
yeah, so I mean, the good thing is that like you can pretty much get a flight on Southwest from anywhere for pretty cheap, or like Frontier or one of those cheap airlines. But if you can drive,
Wait. Did you just co-sign on Frontier/Spirit? Please. Like, I don't want our members to die. I actually want to meet them.
I flew Frontier once, and when I landed, I threw away my Frontier card. Like
Yeah.
I'm never going
No,
on
no,
a
no.
airline
Funny,
again.
you're recommending fucking Frontier and you flew it once and never flew it again. Can we delete that part of the podcast? Because let me tell you, when I flew Spirit once, and I shit you not, I literally got off the plane and had to wipe my ass because I shit my pants. I was so scared. I mean, it was like a lawnmower engine. They were fucking cranking it in the back. I mean, fuck that, dude. Like, spend an extra $50 and get on Southwest, please.
Fair point. Fair point. But if you can drive, now
Yeah.
I have to begin by saying that I like long drives, which is why I just drove to and from Reno, 7 hours each way. Like I actually enjoy it. If you don't like long drives, then scrap the idea. But you're just going to save so much money because it's going to be so much cheaper gas versus airfare, and you don't have to rent a car or anything when you get here. And if you are staying downtown and you want to go to the Rio, you can just drive yourself as opposed to having to pay for Ubers. So consider that as an option, especially when you got two
Yeah, and
guys.
if you're going with a buddy too, like think of how I mean, the price just keeps going down and down and down. Like you pay chop gas, like rotate driving, then you get a room cheaper with two people. Yeah, so I'm with you. Driving would be the nut spot.
Yeah, if I was coming out here for anything over a week, and I was in any kind of reasonable driving distance, I would drive. Like
You
for
did
sure,
it.
2 weeks.
You did it once from North Carolina. I remember, right? I mean, we had the Jeep, but did you do it twice?
I did it. I did it once, but I wish I'd done it more because for a million reasons. A, it saves me. Well, I don't know if it saved me much because that is a long drive, so I had to get hotels and that's a lot of gas. But the company has to bring a lot of shit out, and by being able to just throw that in my car as opposed to shipping it all, saved us a fortune. So, but I mean, I would do it again. I think.
It's funny. Half the stuff we bring out is stress balls, and Casey just throws them all on the roof.
That's true.
Well, we do too, or at my face.
There's
When
probably
I mean-
still stress balls on that roof.
I'll guarantee we're all over Vegas just because stress balls.
One of these years, I'm gonna do the RV trip from North Carolina to Vegas, and it's gonna be amazing.
Oh God, man, I may fly in to NC just to do it with you because I think that would be so much fun.
Yeah, especially if you had like a good 4 to 5 guys, so that you could really rotate
Sure.
the drivers.
What we really should do is just like stream the whole way.
Yes.
We stream the whole trip. I don't know. My language is just so foul.
We're making ourselves in some trouble.
Can we edit? Oh yeah, we'll just give them the thing will pop up. Not meant for mature audiences only.
Uh,
But
maybe
yeah,
I want to
I
do
think we budgeted correctly. Like 1,500 to 3K. That's without flights. I think you could do it if you came out there after flight or after driving with 1,500 to 3 grand. I think you're good. It just depends what you want to do.
that. Yep. The funny thing is if we had Carlos on this show, he would be like 800.
He's like 600, like canned pineapple.
I mean, actually, we should mention this if we're bringing up Carlos. Like, maybe take a look at Airbnb too, because he found a place. Now, granted, it was with a crazy Brazilian lady, who thought she was married to Kenny Rogers, but wasn't his room like 20 a night or something?
Yeah, good thing you brought that up. Like, and I think he ended up staying with her the next year too. Like, she was nice too. She would drop him off places sometimes. I mean, Airbnb is not a bad idea at all. I like the whole casino experience. But yeah, it's definitely not the best way to budget. Like,
Right.
let's be clear on that. No way.
And I guess it's worth mentioning, stay out of the pits.
Yeah. Okay. Great call. Yeah. Like, do yourself a favor and don't play table games. And dude, like, I think I'm the best out of everyone that we stay with every year.
Oh, 100%.
I'm trying to think. James doesn't play too many table games. Well, I mean, out of the TPE guys, it's not even close. I'm by far. Oh no, Diego's good too.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Diego.
Like, I don't even put money. Like, I'll be sitting at the bar and I don't even put money in the machines. Like, to get. I mean, sometimes I'll do it to get free drinks, but yeah, I'm pretty good with that.
I don't know how you have that control either, because you're an action junkie.
Dude, like, when I was younger, I lost hella money to a bookie. Like, I've been through the ringer. Like, I've done stupid shit. Like, like, I've been there, done that. I've made my mistakes where I've lost thousands playing blackjack. And, like, I finally just realized how fucking dumb it was. Because, like, why is Vegas open?
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, I dabble now, but I'm also in a much better spot where I can afford to shit a couple hundred and, like, not care.
Right.
So I've made those mistakes already.
Yeah.
I'm your test dummy. I'm the guinea pig. Like, trust me. I'm happy you brought that up because I think it's hard to go to Vegas and, like, not be a regular there. Like, we go every year and, like, you still DJing.
Yeah.
Like, I in order to make this, like, yeah, I think, like, the $1,500 to $3K budget was assuming you weren't playing any table games.
Right.
Because that can end horribly. People will, like, bust a tournament and they're like, oh, I'll get it back in blackjack. And then, like, all of a sudden, their budget of $3K is gone day one, hour two.
Right. Yeah, like, I'm actually, like, I think I'm better than a lot of people in terms of not
You know,
DJing so much.
I give you shit. You play, but you don't play big or anything. Like, you know, you don't play blackjack and shit. Like, you put 20 in a machine. Like,
Yeah, but I definitely have a problem with those damn video machines that are at the bar, because I like sitting at the bar, and I convince myself that, oh, well,
Wait,
I don't want to pay
wait.
for this beer.
you like sitting at the bar?
I know, shocker, right?
A guy that works for a brewery, like, owns a brewery. Shocker.
Somehow I convinced myself that I shouldn't have to pay for my beers. I'd rather lose $100 to pay for the 2 beers, which is really solid math.
The cool thing in Reno, I'll say, is they're like, it's way easier to just put like a 20 in, and you could sit there for all day. And, like, they don't care. They just look and see the balance. They don't care if you're spinning it. At the Rio, specifically the hooker bar, like, that fucking bartender, if you're not spinning that, he knows how many rotations you're pumping out every drink.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll
in
order a
Reno,
beer.
they didn't give a shit.
Yeah, the guy. Nobody in Reno ever said anything the whole time.
No,
I think one guy said, because one of your buddies asked for a glass of wine, and the guy said, "Well, if you put money in the machine, I'll give it to you for free." He didn't even say spin it. He just said put money in the machine.
a thigh in the sky. And, you know, everyone that works there is just looking for tips, as they should be. But I guess they're just tougher in Reno, in Vegas. Because that guy at the hooker bar, like, I mean, he's brutal.
Yeah.
I hope he listens to this, too.
There's been many times I've sat at that hooker bar and probably spent 200, and then, like, a buddy will walk up and we'll talk for like 10 minutes, and then I'll be like, "Hey, you want a beer?" And yeah, and I'll turn around and ask for a beer, and he's like, $6. And I'm like, "Wait, what?" I just put
Dude,
200.
I'm
and
down
it's like-
200.
Yeah. He's like, "Sorry, man, the green light's off." I'm like,
Yeah.
cool. I actually want to look at the lights behind those machines. I want to see what they look like.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, or someone's in his ear just being like, "Dude, he hasn't spun."
Yeah. Cut off the guy in the black hat.
The guy, how does he not notice us? I mean, and we tip fat. Like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm away.
Luckily, PTs takes care of us. That's all that really matters.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna
That's-
miss PTs.
We'll be back soon enough, Trevor.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, update. Well, I mean, they know. People who've listened to this know I'm moving from Vegas to North Carolina again, or back, or whatever. 3 days. I leave in 3 days. It's insane.
Yeah, you must be panic mode. Just getting ready to pack? Because I know you haven't started since you've been back from Reno.
No, yeah. The thing that's the biggest pain in the ass is that I have to like return the cable box and like turn off the internet and just all those little things are worse than the packing part. 'Cause I don't have much stuff, but
Yeah,
all
and
that
you've
stuff's
got
just
a lot of
annoying
it
me.
packed too.
Yeah. So I won't be on next week's show because I'll be somewhere in the middle of fucking Tennessee or something driving. It's gonna be good times. So yeah, so I'm reading through his email to make sure there's any other tips. I will say he did say, do they have anything for smaller buy-ins, like a few $100s? So if that's what he's thinking in terms of his each tournament buy-in, I mean, I would just win it up all day, as in
Yeah,
WYNN.
Win Aria, and then some of the stuff downtown in Fremont, and like the Orleans nightly. Look for nightlies that the key is finding the best structures, and maybe Carlos will be a nice guy and help you out. I doubt it. He'll probably just avoid your message. But like this is right up his alley. I mean, there's nobody better that I can think of at finding value, and I respect that a lot because that's how I was. Like I used to play on all the shit sites online when nobody wanted to play on them, just because I was like, I don't need to play on PokerStars. I need money.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I was playing on I was playing on Carbon before Carbon was a thing. Like when Black Friday hit, everyone freaked out. I was like, oh, all my money's on Carbon anyway. I'm gold. Like I was ready. I was like, oh yeah, please come here. I'm ready.
yeah. I know Carlos just tweeted something out about how he's been teaching in Portland for like the last 3 months or whatever. I guess like just building a bankroll. And he's like, so now I'm taking the next 8 months off. I'm going to Atlanta and then Jamaica, and then I'm coming to to Vegas for the World
No,
Series.
God, the life,
Yeah,
nomad life.
so it can be done for a very cheap price. You just gotta be a stickler. Man, we'll have to get Carlos on one day to talk about some of the other value hunting because he's also the king of like finding cheap food. Like he'll be like, yeah, if you go to Whole Foods, they have these samples trays out.
Yeah, like at 3 o'clock. No, I was serious. Like, I mean, I remember him with his canned pineapples. It actually looked hella good too. But like, the man is a genius. Like, he does it for cheap.
Yep. It might not be for everybody, but you can make it work. Cool. So I think we covered most of everything there.
Yeah, we just kind of went ham on that. But I mean, I think a lot of listeners. I mean, I think that's important. Like, because a
Yeah.
lot of people don't have the money to be spending to stay a month at a home. Like, I mean, what we pay is stupid. But we kind of look at it as a vacation too, from all the hard work we do. So
We hard work. Wait, what?
we put out 5 podcasts last year.
No, but that is true. That is true. And yeah, Ubers over cabs. Never take cabs. Cabs are a ripoff.
Yeah, I'll drive you fucking wrong direction. Oh, it's horrible, especially in Vegas.
So yeah, to the person who asked that question, if you come out next summer, make sure and like hit up me or Mark or whatever, and we'll make sure and we'll buy you your first beer. So you're already saving like $5. But all the next
And
ones you have to buy for us.
try to come out. Try to come out. Yeah, try to come out during the party too, because that's a free meal and a free night of drinking.
Yeah. Plus you'll meet like 20 other members, and they'll be able to like you guys can like split a house next summer or something.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's about for me. Is like I love the community of TP, and I mean that party is like it pained me not to be there. Like when you guys were sending me pictures, I wanted to beat you and Dylan up.
It was so much fun.
I was just like, because you knew I was sitting there just like, oh man.
Yeah, that was a great time. I now I'm all ready to go. When we get off the podcast, we have to house hunt.
I mean, I think we know where we're staying.
Yeah, you're probably right. Cool. All right. So that was sort of like a combination of intro slash strategy, I guess. Like there's some strategy involved.
No,
with bankroll
dude, that's
management.
big. That's a lot of strategy, to be honest. Like that's super important. Like bankroll management is the key to beating this game.
Yep. Oh, I guess one thing I did want to mention. Meant to mention this right off the bat, but I didn't. So I don't know for sure if this member who's asking this question has played live before, or if they just have played online and they want to like come out and do the live thing for the first time. Ignore this advice if you like play a ton in your local live casino or whatever. But if you don't, I would recommend going and playing any tournament locally, whether it's a fucking $50 nightly or a $30 home game, like whatever, just to get your kind of bearings with live poker, because it can be intimidating a little bit.
Yeah, and you may find out you need headphones.
Yeah. Yes.
No, I agree, and I think a lot of people probably haven't. Some people just play online, like definitely, because you will be not nervous, but it'll just be different. Like you may have anxiety. Like definitely go out and play some live cash, live tournament, whatever, just to get a feel. I agree.
Yeah, because the last thing you want to do is like come to Vegas for 5 days. In the first 2, you feel like you fish out of water who doesn't know how to like stack their chips or.
Wait, where's the button? The button's not.
Yeah. What? How many chips does that guy have? Where's the reader? The counter?
I'm still bad at that. I hate
same.
that. I wish all tables had like where they just could feel the weight of the chips or something, and you would see their amount. So we don't have to be like, how much do you have? How much are you playing?
Yeah, I'm still bad about it too. In fact, when I put together the hand history for today, I was like, how many chips did the big blind have? I don't know.
Seriously.
I wish I had paid better attention, but so I guess let's jump into the one hand that I have from my Run It Up Reno experience. And you and I actually talked about this hand a little bit before. I have changed my mind about what I think about this hand at least 4 times, and I don't know why I've even thought about it this much. I think when I started writing it down last night, I was like, maybe I didn't play this so good, but that's a good reason to run it down on the podcast here and see what everybody thinks. So this is from the shootout. So it was a 6-max shootout event, and we are down to 3 people at the table.
I think it's important that people that don't know what a shootout is,
Yeah.
why don't you just run it down a little bit?
Yeah, so basically a shootout is like a sit and go with only one winner. And that winner moves on to another sit and go with only one winner. So basically, you have to win your table, and you just sort of move through the progression until there's one table left. And I think at the final table, it pays like a regular final table. But up until then, it's winner take all.
So a little strategy for this. I'm not willing to gamble more in these, but I'll take more aggressive lines since we need to end up with all the chips. It doesn't mean I'm going to punt, but like, I will shove in some spots that I probably wouldn't shove in a regular tournament, just because, I mean, the goal is to win it all. We're not sitting there just trying to wait, like to move up pay ladders or like conserve our stack. Like, I'm going for it all. So I think a more aggressive approach, like it doesn't, and I hate when I say aggression, like people may think like, oh, just stuff it in. No, I just think timed aggression, but like, yeah, I'll take more spots is what I'm trying to say.
Right. And that's kind of one thing, which we'll get to when we get to this river decision, that I think I was struggling with, was like, does the shootout factor change the way we should play this hand, I guess, particularly on the river. So we shall see when we get there. So again, shootout format. It's a 6-max shootout. There's 3 people left. I'm on the button with about a 12K stack. The small blind has about 10K, and the big blind has roughly 18K. But again, they don't have counters for these things, so that could be a little off. The blinds are 200, 400. This tournament had the big blind ante structure. So normally the big blind ante would have been 400, but they do it where when you're under 4 players, it goes to a size of the small blind, which is actually kind of cool. So it's essentially 200, 400, 200.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So we are on the button with the 5, 6 of spades. And I raised to 1100. I don't think there's a lot of discussion there. I mean, we're raising there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like depending on how you like what your limping strategy is from the button. I think limping is fine too. Folding is not okay, but I would have no problem limping here.
I really need to I never think about limping. It's a huge leak.
I prefer raising slightly with just like the bottom suited connectors. But like I would limp some Jack 10 suited, some 9-10 suited. I mean, I'm okay with both. Like I think it sets up. Like it depends on your strategy. I'm gonna have a lot of limp raises in my range here, so I'm fine having limp folds too, just to balance that out.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. But yeah, so we do raise to 1100. Small blind folds and the big blind calls. So there's now 2.8k in the pot, and the flop is Ace 8 5 Rainbow. And like I said, we have the 5 6, so we flop bottom pair.
And no backdoor flush, right?
I believe the ace was of the spade variety.
Okay.
So we do have the back door.
And you started the hand with 12?
Yeah, 12k, so about 30 bigs.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I slightly prefer opening here now that I know that. If you had like 24 bigs, I think limping might be better. But yeah, with these stack sizes, I think I prefer opening.
Cool. So he checks, and so now it's on us with bottom pair. I opt to bet 1200 into 2.8. Do you see any reason to check back here? Maybe try to pick up some more equity?
The backdoor flush is nice. I don't know if you have aces in your check back range. I do have some, but your hand is so vulnerable. And like you can barrel them off an 8 where I lean betting as the best. I mean, like, so if we bet and like a spade comes, we can double barrel. He folds a lot of 8s. We can also double barrel some of the straight cards, like a 4 or a 7. So yeah, I think betting here is the play.
Cool.
And I don't think you have to bet big either.
Yeah, and I guess ours is like less than half. So yeah, 1200 into 2.8 seems like a pretty decent size.
Yeah, I like that.
And he calls. So now, I should mention, the villain has been pretty active, raising a lot. But I mean, it's a 6-max shootout, so we've been playing 6-handed or less the whole time. So it's kind of one of those things where like almost everybody's been active, except really the small blind in his hand, who's not here anymore. So I don't know how much to read into like him calling pre-flop and him calling on the flop. Like, you know, it's shorthand. It's almost like playing heads up. It's like he could be floating here with gutters. He could be
with like, complete air.
Yeah, like just with plans to take it away, or he could have backdoor shit, or he could have an 8, or he could have a 5, or like 7s. I just feel like he could have almost anything here. So like when I was going through this hand, I was like, when he calls, my first instinct was like, okay, well, what do we put him on here when he calls? And I'm like, anything. Like,
yeah, it could be a lot.
Like, I'm sure there's stuff we could remove, like, I don't know, like 3-4 off or something, but, well, no, actually, I wouldn't even remove that because that's a gutter. But you get the idea. I don't know where he's at this point, I guess. But he does call the bet. So now there's 5.2k in the pot. For reference, I have 9.7k behind, roughly. And the turn is the 6 of diamonds.
So run the board out again.
Ace 8 5 6, still rainbow.
Ace 8 5 6,
and we have the 5 6 of spades. And he checks.
Okay, we have to bet to protect.
Yeah.
And for value. I mean, there's two things we're doing here.
Right. And what do you think sizing here? I chose to bet 2.2 into 5.2.
I mean, with your stack size, I think that's good. I mean, you have 9, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like 2.2.
Cool. Yeah, so that's what we do. And
like, that sets up like a 3/4 pot river shove.
Right.
If he just calls.
Yeah. And that was kind of my intention was obviously.
I mean, there's a lot of bad runouts where, like, you can't shove, but... yeah, I mean, like, the plan is to bet to shove river and just pray he has, like, ace 10 or something.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping, is that he just has some random ace X, like ace 9, ace 10. I think some of the bigger aces he would raise pre, but I mean, I think we can call by, like, all his random ace X's. So we bet 2k into 5.2k, and he shoves. So... when he shoves, it's now... I actually went back and did the math. So we basically have to call 7.5k to win 17.1k.
Yeah, I remember when we talked about this. It's just like there's only so many. I don't even know if he does. Like, does he do this with ace 9? Like, that doesn't seem good. Like, he has the best hand a lot. Why wouldn't he just let you bluff off?
Right.
Like 8-9, like doesn't make much sense. Like can still call and just like realize his equity. Where I don't think he needs to, and still has the best hand decent chunk of the time. Where I don't think he needs to turn into a bluff. Like I'm not sure. If you tell me what you think you beat here, because and I get it. You have two pairs, a tough spot, and like there's three to a straight, like 5, 6, 7. Wait, is it? Wait, it's 5, 6, 8.
5, 6, 8. Yep, 5, 6, 8, ace.
I think. Did you say 5, 6, 7 before?
Uh,
No, it's 5, 6, 8
yeah.
is what. Yeah. So like, does he have ace 7? 7, 8, not 8, 9. I misspoke. Like you're praying right now, you need him to have a combo draw. He doesn't have a pure bluff. Like there's no just like pure like king queen bluff here ever.
Right.
So you beat hands. You don't beat much. I'll tell you that. Like ace 7 you beat, but like, or wait, 5, 6, yeah. Ace 7 you beat open ended with top pair. But like I don't think he just doesn't need to jam that.
Right.
Like because if you are bluffing, he can just keep calling, and he's not going to fold ace king. He knows you're not going to fold a better ace. Ever.
Right.
Like so, he would just be bluffing with the best hand a lot of the time, which is silly. So yeah, I don't know what you beat here. Why don't you talk to me?
Yeah. See, this is kind of my problem. At the time, I think I said to myself, "Okay, we're playing three-handed. I have two pair. It's really hard to make two pair."
It's the bottom, which
Yeah.
sucks. Like if we had middle two, like I mean, bottom pair like is brutal here.
Yeah, like if I have any two pair involving an ace, I'm pretty stoked to get it in
Yeah,
there.
because you beat all those other two pairs. I mean, anytime you're thinking about calling it all in, you have to just think about what you beat.
Yeah.
And here you don't beat any two pairs. You obviously don't beat any sets. The only thing you do, he can have one pair. He can have like ace king, like which I think he three bets pre. But he can have like some of those. Like I have some ace king flats here. I have some ace queens, some ace jacks, and like those can shove.
True.
So like, a lot of that will have to do with who you're playing against. Like, but maybe he's better off just calling there instead of shoving for value.
Yeah, I think. Like
I feel like ace jack wouldn't be a horrible shove here on his part, or like because like you have worse hands that call.
Sure.
Which is why whatever. Keep going.
Yeah, so I'm looking at my hand. I have two pair. That's great. And I'm looking at the pot. I'm looking at my chips that I have left, which is now 7.5k. And I'm thinking, I think I'm feeling shorter in my chip stack than I am. So part of me is like, well, I've put all my chips in, but I really haven't put that many of them in. Like I have almost 20 big blinds if I fold here. But I think I felt more pressure because of how many chips are in the pot and what I thought was few left. But I agree with you now, especially after I wrote this hand down. I'm like, the hell do I beat? Like he doesn't even have any missed flush draws.
Was he three betting a lot?
No, but he was very. He was opening a ton. In fact, I don't know if anybody. I actually don't know if anybody at the table had three bet the whole time.
If he's not three betting a lot, that means he does have some of the better aces. Probably the ace. I mean, I think he three bets ace king just because an ace queen. I mean, but if he's not three betting, he's not three betting. So maybe he has all those as calls, which I think become really good jams here in his part because now he can jam those hands, and you have like a combo draw or like a withered ace that you have to call with because you're just committed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you do beat enough combinations of those ace X, one pair type hands where, like, calling is probably the play here, especially, I mean, I wouldn't weigh, like, the fact that it's a shootout big in this spot, but if it's, like, really close where, like, it's neutral, say it was a neutral play to call here, I'd probably call just given the structure. Mm-hmm. But, like, I can't imagine it being neutral. I mean, I think you're supposed to call here, especially given the information that he hadn't three-bet a lot. That's pretty key in this spot because he's just he's more likely to have one pair ace-high hands.
Right.
However, you could look at it another way, too, that the fact that he's not three-betting, maybe he doesn't shove here ever, like, to protect. I don't know. I mean, the math is good here. I think, what'd you say, 2.5 to 1?
Yeah.
Um, and I think betting the turn is a must. Like, I would need a really good reason to fold here. Um, if I thought he was super tight, for instance, I would not call. Um,
Yeah, like one thing I will say when I was thinking about this is the guy in the small blind, super nice guy, but clearly a recreational player and older, which doesn't always mean anything, but I think in this case it did. Like he was just sort of a happy-go-lucky retiree or something.
yeah,
I would have folded to him, I think.
yeah, okay, that's good of you to say. Um, I think the key is here is if he has one pair type hands, ace X, he has some combo draws like a certain percentage of the time, which almost makes it profitable to call anyways. But then since he hasn't three bet, you add in all those ace X combo one pair type hands, like or top pair. I keep saying one pair, top pair type hands. I think this makes this a pretty clear call, given the math too.
Cool. Yes, I feel better about myself.
Yeah, and at first I was like, in my head, I was like, man, like maybe this isn't a call. But then the more I thought about it, like what am I doing here with ace 10? I think I'm just calling you.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know though, man. Like that's a pretty strong hand, three-handed, and if we're flatting like pretty big out of the big blind, like I think it's kind of important to protect and get value here when we can because there's a lot of bad cards with ace 10. Um, like I'm wondering what he does with like ace 9, like top pair, decent kicker, and a gutter. Does he fire that in there? And I think this again, like I think this hand can be like you said. If this was against older gentlemen in the small blind, you find a fold, and you sounded pretty like it was really easy.
Mhm.
So I think these spots like are super player dependent, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I don't feel too bad. I did end up calling, and he flipped over the ace eight, and we were
And
good.
I love his shove too. Like I think his shove is perfect. Like scary board, get it in now.
Yeah, yeah, because there's so many cards that A, beat him, and B, kill any
Kill
action
his
he's trying to
action,
get.
yeah. I mean, but that's why like I think you have to take the same line like with a hand like Ace Jack. If you did flat, like I don't think jamming would be horrible. Like unless I thought you were gonna triple barrel off as a bluff. I think
Right.
shoving Ace Jack in that spot is fine too. And if you throw in like even if you throw in 50% of those with some of the combos, I mean 2.5 to 1's too good of a price to pass up.
Yep. Cool. All right. I wasn't a complete failure this week.
You feel better now, man?
Not really. Still lost $250. But it was it was a very cool event, a very cool series. I had a good time. It was great to see you, obviously, and hang with you and your boys. And um, I don't know, we saw a bunch of cool
My
stuff.
boys are your boys, Chirp.
I feel that way now.
That's how it always is. It's just like your friends are my friends too. Same thing. I want to say though, I agree with you. I highly recommend this tournament to anyone close in California. I think it's a great trip. Reno's a cool spot. Mini Vegas. I highly recommend it. And just like a well-run tournament. How are the dealers since I didn't play?
Really good. From what I gathered, I kind of mentioned this earlier, but from what I gather, they basically just took a bunch of people from Vegas and brought them up.
Yeah.
So they were all. I didn't have a single bad dealer. I did.
That's awesome.
I did get slow rolled like crazy by one guy, which was
Knit
weird.
rolled, knit rolled, knit
Yeah,
rolled.
yeah, it was a net roll. You're right. I'll save that for another day. But yeah, it's good. I mean, and it's kind of it's a cool mix of like super soft, not super of softer field and like getting to play with like people you know from Twitch or from the World Series or whatever. Like money makers there playing every event. It is fun. Yeah. So I think everybody should go. And if you're going, let me and Mark know because we'll see you there.
Yeah, I'm going every year, and next year I'll play. I need to stay
call.
long.
I
is what
call.
need to do. No, I need to stay long. For sure, I would have played like not. I mean, like I would have played the main. Like if it was there, I would have played the main for sure.
Yeah, and I'll go longer next time too because I'll be actually coming from further away. So.
You can just fly into Cali and we'll drive.
Oh, good call. Good call. Yeah, I like that. Cool. All right, man. Well, hey, it was good to be back on the podcast with you. It's been too long.
Yeah, I hated it. I miss Clayton already.
Yeah, actually, good luck, by the way, to Clayton down there in wherever he is in Florida. Hope you're
Chip's
winning
the
the
good
tournament.
guys.
Yeah, Clayton's been doing a great job. Thanks to him for doing this. And yeah, that's it. So for me and Mark, thanks for listening. And we'll see you. Well, actually, we won't see you, but Clayton will see you next time on the Tournament Poker Edge podcast.
Peace.
I wanna hold them like they do in Texas Plays. Fold them, let them hit me, raise it, baby, stay with me. Luck and intuition, play the cards with babes to start. And after she's been hooked, I'll play the one that's on her heart. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. Can't read mine, no she can't read a mile. Poker face, she's got to love nobody. Can't read mine, no she can't read a mile. Poker face, she's got to love nobody. Poker face, poker face. Poker face, poker face. I wanna roll with her, a hard pair we will be. While little gambling is fun when you're with me. I love it. Russian roulette is not the same without a gun. And baby, when it's love, it is not rough, it isn't fun. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. Can't read mine, no she can't read a mile. Poker face, she's got to love nobody. Can't read mine, no she can't read a mile. Poker face, she's got to love nobody. Poker face, poker face. Poker face, poker face. Can't read mine, no she can't read a mile. Poker face, she's got to love nobody. Can't